Hello and welcome guys to Reception. This video is all about the ICSE Semester 1 Chemistry exam that will be held in the month of November 2021. In this video we are going to cover two things. First, we are going to discuss the question paper pattern for the first semester chemistry exam. And secondly, we are going to solve the official specimen paper that has been released by the council. So make sure that you watch this video till the end, and if you like it, do hit the thumbs up button, share this video with your friends and subscribe to our channel Eduception. Also hit the bell icon to get notified of all our videos. Without further ado, let's begin with the question paper pattern. As you can see guys, we have the ICSE Semester 1 examination specimen question paper for chemistry. The maximum marks for this paper is 40 and you will get 1 hour to solve the whole thing. Now guys, this 1 hour also includes the reading time. That means within 1 hour, you will have to read the entire question paper and solve it. All the questions are compulsory. That means you will have to answer all the questions in the question paper. You have to select the correct option for each of the following questions. So guys, the pattern is very straightforward. You will have to go through the entire question paper and solve all the questions that are present. Now we will begin with the solutions. Question 1. The trend in metallic nature of metals as we go from top to bottom in a group increases. Now guys, the metallic nature of metals increases as we go from the top of the group to the bottom of the group. Hence, option 1 increases will be correct. Moving on to question 2. The color change observed when the solution of magnesium hydroxide is tested with the following indicators. Number 1, phenolphthalein turns colorless to pink. Guys, this will be correct, number 1, because magnesium hydroxide is an alkali, and when alkalis react with phenolphthalein, the color of phenolphthalein turns from colorless to pink. Hence, option 1 is correct. Moving on to question 3. The compound which is a non-electrolyte. Number 1, KCl, it is an electrolyte. Number 2, H2SO4, it is an electrolyte. Number 3, CCl4. Guys, this is not an electrolyte. That means option 3, CCl4 will be correct. Moving on to question number 4, we have twice the vapor density gives. Now guys, I hope you know the formula that molecular mass is equal to 2 into vapor density. That means option 3, molecular mass will be correct. Moving on to question number 5, we have the number of lone pair of electrons in the nitrogen atom in ammonia molecule. Now guys, let me draw a rough electron dot structure of ammonia. So we have nitrogen, 2 electrons over here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, hydrogen, hydrogen and hydrogen. So we have NH3, and guys, this is a lone pair. Hence, 1 lone pair of electrons is present. Moving on to question number 6, we have elements with similar valence shell configuration in a periodic table are placed in the same group. Very simple. So option 4 is correct. Moving on to question number 7, we have the gas liberated when sodium sulfite reacts with dilute sulfuric acid. Guys, this will be sulfur dioxide, SO2. So option 4 is correct. Now, whenever metal sulfides react with dilute sulfuric acid, SO2 gas is produced. So option 4, sulfur dioxide is correct. Moving on to question 8, we have thickness of metal coating during electroplating depends on. Guys, this depends on the duration of current passed. So option 1, the duration of current passage will be correct. Moving on to question number 9, we have ionic bonding is seen in number 1, methane, that's covalent bond. Number 2, hydrogen, covalent bond. Number 3, ammonia, covalent bond. And number 4, sodium oxide, that is ionic bond. So 4, sodium oxide is correct. Moving on to question 10, we have the molecular formula of an organic compound is C6H12O6 and the empirical formula is CH2O. The value of N is. Now guys, over here, N into CH2O will be equal to C6H12O6. That means it is very simple to understand that the value of N is equal to 6, because carbon goes from 1 to 6, hydrogen goes from 2 to 12, and oxygen goes from 1 to 6. Hence the value of N is 6. So guys, option 2 is correct. Simple. Moving on to question number 11, we have when an electron is added in the valence shell. Now guys, when an electron is added in the valence shell, energy is released. So option 1, energy is released, will be correct. Moving on to question 12, we have the most electronegative element is sodium, aluminium, bromine, fluorine. Guys, option 4, fluorine will be correct. It is the most electronegative element. Moving on to question number 13, we have the bond in carbon tetrachloride is single covalent bond. Yes, it is a single covalent bond. So option 1 is correct. Moving on to question number 14, we have the type of bonding present in the nitrogen molecule. Guys, in nitrogen molecule, the type of bonding is triple covalent bond. Hence, option 4 will be correct. Moving on to question number 15, we have a compound with empirical formula XY2 has the vapor density equal to its empirical formula weight. The molecular formula is, now guys, we know that 2 into the vapor density is equal to the molecular mass. Now, it is given in the question that the vapor density is equal to its empirical formula weight. That means 2 into the empirical formula weight will be equal to the molecular mass. Therefore, 2 into XY2 will be the molecular formula. Therefore, X2Y4 will be the molecular formula. So, option 1, X2Y4 will be correct. Moving on to question number 16, we have identify one statement that does not hold true for electrorefining of copper. Number 1, electrolyte is acidified CuSO4 solution. Guys, this is true. Number 2, cathode is a thin strip of impure copper. Guys, this is false because cathode is a thin strip of pure copper. Number 3, anode dissolves in the electrolyte. Guys, that is true. Number 4, anode gets thicker. No, this is false because the anode does not get thicker. So over here, 2 options are correct, which is 2 and 4. Simple. Moving on to question number 17, we have the observation when ammonium chloride reacts with potassium hydroxide. Guys, when ammonium chloride reacts with potassium hydroxide, ammonia gas is released. That means a reddish brown gas, no. Number 2, a colorless gas which turns moist red litmus blue. Guys, this will be correct because ammonia is a colorless gas and it is basic in nature. Therefore, it turns moist red litmus blue. Moving on to question 18, we have the color of the precipitate formed when ferrous ions react with ammonium hydroxide solution. Now, when ferrous ions react with ammonium hydroxide solution, the color of the precipitate is dirty green. Hence, option 3 is correct. Moving on to question number 19, we have during ionization, metals lose electrons. This change can be called oxidation. Very simple. Guys, this is the definition of oxidation only. Question number 20. The oxide of a metal that reacts both with acid and alkali to form salt and water. So they are talking about amphoteric oxides. Now, out of these 4 options, aluminium oxide will be correct because it is an amphoteric oxide. Moving on to question number 21. The property which decreases from left to right across the periodic table. Electron affinity, no. Electronegativity, no. Ionization energy, no. 4, metallic character, yes. Metallic character decreases from left to right across the periodic table. Moving on to question number 22, we have on the basis of electronic configuration, the period and group of B is. Now, the atomic number of B is 5. That means the electronic configuration will be 2, 3. That means the period will be second period and the group will be 3. So, option 1, 2 and 3A is correct. Moving on to question number 23, we have select the ion that would get selectively discharged from the aqueous mixture of the ions listed below. Now guys, out of these 4 anions, Option 3, OH minus 1 will be released selectively because it is situated at the lower end of the electrochemical series of anions. Very simple. Moving on to question number 24, we have hydronium ion is formed when a molecule of water combines with. Now guys, hydronium ion is formed when a water molecule combines with H plus ion, and H plus ion is nothing but a proton. So option 2, proton, is correct. Moving on to question 25, we have the condition that is most appropriate for electroplating with nickel. Let's check out the options. Number 1, electrolyte is molten copper sulfate. Guys, this is false. Number 2, anode should be made of impure nickel plate. This is true. Number 3, alternating current is used. False. Number 4, periodic replacement of cathode is needed. False. Because cathode is the item that we want to electroplate. Hence option 2 is correct. Moving on to question number 26, we have the hydroxide which is soluble in excess ammonium hydroxide. Guys, out of these 4, option 3, zinc hydroxide, will be correct. Moving on to question number 27, we have which statement is not true for electrolysis. Let's check all the options. Number 1, cations migrate towards cathode. Guys, this is true. Number 2, anions discharge at anode. This is true. Number 3, anions get reduced during electrolysis. Guys, this is false because cations get reduced during electrolysis. So option 4, cations get reduced during electrolysis. This is true. Hence option 3 is the correct answer. Moving on to question number 28, we have H2Y is the formula of a compound. What is the valency exhibited by Y? Now over here, H will have the valency 1 and Y will have the valency 2. So after crossing, we get H2Y. Hence the valency exhibited by Y will be 2, which is option 2. Moving on to question number 29, we have the particles which attract one another to form electrovalent compounds are. Guys, these particles will be ions. That is why electrovalent compounds are also called ionic compounds. Hence option 3, ions, is correct. Moving on to question number 30, we have which one of the following statements is not correct. Let's check out all the statements. Number 1, pure water does not allow a current to flow through it. Guys, this is correct. Number 2, the electrolyte only conducts when in the molten state. Guys, this is not correct because electrolytes can conduct electricity either in molten state or aqueous solution. Hence, option 2 is the correct answer. Moving on to question number 31, we have the salt formed by partial replacement of hydrogen ion of an acid by a basic radical. Guys, this will be option 4, zinc hydrogen sulfide, because this is an acid salt. Moving on to question number 32, we have alkali which dissociates only partially in aqueous solution. Guys, out of these 4 alkalis, option 2, calcium hydroxide, is a weak alkali. That means it will dissociate only partially. So option 2, calcium hydroxide, is correct. Moving on to question number 33, we have the property that matches with elements of the halogen family are. Number 1, they are chemically highly reactive. Guys, this is true. Number 2, they are metallic in nature. False. Number 3, they are monatomic in their molecular form. This is false. Number 4, they have 1 electron in their valence shell. This is also false. Hence, option 1, they are chemically highly reactive, is correct. Moving on to question number 34, we have cathode is a reducing electrode because number 1, it has less number of electrons. No. Number 2, it has deficiency of electrons. No. Number 3, cations gain electrons from cathode. Yes. So guys, option 3 will be correct. Moving on to question number 35, we have the simplest ratio of the atoms of carbon and hydrogen is 1:1. Identify the possible molecular formula. Let's check out the simplest ratio for all the 4 options. For the first option, it will be 1:1. For the second option, it will be 1:2. For the third option, it will be 3:1. And for the fourth option, it will be 3:4. Now in the question it is given that the simplest ratio of the atoms of carbon and hydrogen is 1:1. So the correct option will be option 1 because the simplest ratio over here is 1:1. Moving on to question number 36, we have the empirical formula of the compound is CH2O. The possible molecular formula can be, now over here first let's find the simplest ratio. So that will be 1:2:1. Now let's find the ratio for all the four options. This one will be 1:2:1. This will be 2:4:1. This will be 4:3:2, and this will be 2:3:1. Hence guys, over here option 1 will be correct because the ratio is same. For this it is 1:2:1, and for option 1 also it is 1:2:1. Simple. Moving on to question number 37, we have observe the periodic table to answer the questions. You have the periodic table. In the above table, some elements are mentioned with their own symbol and position of the periodic table while others are shown with a letter. Answer the following questions pertaining to the same. So part A, identify the most electronegative element. Guys, from here we can see that the most electronegative element will be element J. So option 4 J will be correct. So part B, how many valence electrons are present in Q? Let's check the table. We can see that Q is present in group 5A. That means the number of valence electrons will be 5. Hence option 2, 5 is correct. Moving on to subpart C, we have the formula of the compound formed between E and O is. Now we will have to check the table. Now E is present in group 3A and O is present in group 6A. That means what we will have is E3 plus and O2 minus. After crossing we will get E2O3. That means guys, option 3 E2O3 will be correct. Moving on to subpart D, we have the type of bond formed between A and X. Let's check out the table. A is present over here and X is present over here. A is a metal and X is a non-metal. Hence, the type of bond formed will be ionic bond. So, option 1, ionic bond is correct. Now guys, with the end of the specimen paper, we come to an end of this video, and I hope that you have liked this video. As always, new videos on EduCeption are coming very soon, so stay tuned. Until then, this is Rishi on behalf of EduCeption signing off, and guys, take care.